Hi, I'm Dom Hamdy, and this is how I live with style. So this is our terrace house. I live here with my daughter and wife, and we're in Leighton, East London. The living room is probably where we spend most of our time. We stick the log burner on, put a film on, we build Lego with our daughter. It's an everything room for us. We've got a little ceramic mirror, this ceramic tile which has this fish pattern. This is a tester tile for some platters that were made for our wedding. We kind of had these big grilled turbot on a long table in a field. I've got a bit of an obsession with chairs, so we've got some small ceramic chairs here for your tiny friends. We've got these two children's chairs that we picked up in a market in Provence on a road trip with our 2-year-old. They were a struggle to get back, but she's got her kind of mini table in here, which is super sweet. Zigzag candlestick, this is by Jermaine Gallagher, who designed these specifically for our bar Crispin on Kingley Street. This is kind of one of his signatures, just done in a mini version, so we can pop them on the table in the bar. I got into restaurants kind of by accident. Started with a food stall on Berwick Street in Soho in 2013, and the journey just kind of continued from there, really, from a market stall to a cafe on the Strand, and then following that came Crispin, and it kind of just happened. So this is a desk that we inherited from my wife's grandparents. She's a GP and her grandparents were GPs in Yorkshire, and this was their GP desk. Now it's quite special. It was made by Mousy Thompson, and the apprentices who start with Mousy Thompson, they learn how to do this kind of tiny carved mouse. So for the first 6 months, they just carve a mouse, and then they can graduate onto the proper furniture. It's quite small for modern day standards, but it's such a beautiful thing. This is the kitchen. It's probably where I spend most of my time cooking for the family. Kind of quite insistent about getting this restaurant spec stainless steel counter with an absolutely massive sink, because I feel like every time you have a domestic sink, you don't have a sink big enough to wash a big oven pan in. When you're cooking at home, you don't want anything too delicate where you're so precious about putting a pan on a wooden counter, and just allows you to cook a bit more freely. A restaurant spec extractor fan, also very important. I feel like every house we've ever lived in, if you put a really hot pan and a steak on, you're going to set your fire alarm off. So it does sound a bit like an aeroplane taking off when it's on, but it is very good. Particularly like these walnut handles by an artist called Milo Tonry. They're all kind of turned by hand. I've got these amazing scorched little details on them, and they, particularly tactile. And lots of the ceramics in the house are by my father-in-law, who actually was a surgeon turned potter. He's got this little elephant stamp on the bottom. You'll see his work all over the house, which we love. And then we've got some snail plates. And these are from Burgundy in France, a gift from my dad. So we're going to cook snails in garlic butter. My parents grew up in Alexandria in Egypt and met at a French school. And my dad's first French teacher kind of quite strangely became a monk in a rural monastery in France near Burgundy. So we grew up eating snails in Yorkshire in the 90s. My parents would cook snails for every single dinner party that they had. And Bistro Freddy, which is named after my dad, is an homage to him, and it had snails on the menu when we first opened, slightly differently on a flatbread with some chicken skin and garlic butter. Today we're going to cook a really classic French version with some snails from Burgundy. These snails are in brine. We're just going to drain them, and we're going to put these in these really classic snail pots. I really like these because you've got these really kind of deep craters that you can pack full of garlic butter, and it all stays in there, because in the shells you can't quite get as much garlic butter, and really they're just a vessel for as much garlic butter as you can have. So these are from Burgundy, from Savareau. In the restaurants we normally use the Dorset Snail Company, but these are the ones my dad used to use. So we're just going to pop a load of garlic butter into the vessels. To make that, chop a load of parsley really roughly, shallots, grate some garlic, soften butter into a blender, some salt, whip it up until it's all lovely and creamy. Once you've got the butter in, just pop it in the fridge for 10-15 minutes. Let the butter stiffen up a little bit, and then it goes into the oven at 180 degrees for about 10 minutes. Over here by the fridge, we just bought a load of cork tiles and just stuck them on floor to ceiling. We had a small cork board and the memories just kept spilling over, so we needed some more space. We've got our wedding here, which was a kind of super long table. The guys from Crispin cooked for us. And then we've also got our favourite bistro in Paris, Bistro Paul Bert. Party we had at Bar Crispin to celebrate a wine collaboration we did with a winemaker called Christoph Heiss. So he did a Gruner Veltliner, which we paired with some schnitzels, and then a wine called 55-45, which is 55% red, 45% white. There's one thing that is on the menu at all 5 restaurants, and that is our brown butter cake. And now I'm going to show you how to make it. So we're just going to brown some butter. Just kind of get it on the edge of that almost burnt, but not quite, and it gives this amazing nutty characteristic to the butter, and we're going to fold that through the cake mix for our brown butter cake. You'll start having this kind of almost burnt sediment at the bottom, and that is really when it starts caramelizing and becomes really moorish. So this is the larder. It might look kind of slightly neurotic, all these ingredients in jars, but actually, if it's all in packets, it's just stacking up, you can't really find it. We've got some quite fun stuff in here. We got this on holiday in Sicily. It's kind of super pungent anchovy liquid. Look, it comes in a little pipette, and it's just kind of salted anchovies. And the liquid that drains from those, so it's super salty, delicious umami hit. I'm just going to grab a couple of bits for the cake. So we've got some ground almonds, some brown rice flour. It's unintentionally gluten-free. 340 grams of soft brown sugar, 130 grams of almond flour, 85 grams of rice flour, 7 grams of salt. So we're just going to start beating the eggs. So we just want 4 eggs. We put it on one menu at Crispin and Spitalfields and just haven't been able to take it off since. We're just going to mix the eggs into the dry. So now we're going to put the brown butter in with the mix. It's super important that it just cools off a little bit. You don't want it cooking the eggs. You can see that it's really, really dark, kind of on the edge of being burnt. So we're just going to pour that in. Oven should be preheated at 175 degrees. Pop the mix into a tin, and we're going to bake it for 45 minutes. Whilst that's baking, let me show you the rest of the house. So this is the bathroom. We really wanted the bathroom to feel a bit more like a proper room than a bathroom. So we've gone for kind of a timber wooden floor, tongue and groove paneling. We find that a lot of bathrooms are very stark. They're kind of these fully tiled, very, very bright spaces. So we wanted to make it feel just a bit more like a proper room. So my wife made this really beautiful cafe curtain. This is a nice ceramic mermaid that we bought on holiday recently from a ceramicist in the Balearics. So we're not particularly colourful people. We've used schoolhouse white everywhere with a bit of old white. I think the only place we've used some colour, which is incredibly muted, is in my daughter's bedroom, which is a Edward Bulmer Eau de Nil. It's kind of a little green, and then we've got a tiny strip of this kind of terracotta red that separates the 2 rooms. There's an exhibition on a kind of an ancient townhouse in Spitalfields, and they had this between all of the rooms. Granted, it was much brighter. It's kind of dark blues on the one side with really bright oranges, but I just feel like it's a really nice kind of small touch for a pop of colour. Another really beautiful piece made by my wife is this Pagaji cafe curtain. It's a Japanese kind of patchwork style of sewing things together, which we love. She's a very, very keen sewer, so she's got her sewing studio upstairs and has made lots and lots of things over the last 10 years or so, but from everything that you make, you get a kind of a scrap waste bit of fabric, so it's a really nice way to use up scraps. We're currently in the loft room, which we're currently using as a spare bedroom, and yeah, I mean, doing the loft allowed us to go from two to 4 bedrooms, so huge difference. I mean, it's extraordinary how much space how much more space you can get just from plonking something on the top of your house if you're lucky enough to be able to. The lamps, the actual bases are kind of arts and crafts vintage lamp base, and then the shades are by London, and they've got this really amazing kind of constellation pattern on them, so when you light them up you get this really beautiful glow. So we love those, and then these side tables are army issue side tables, so I think these are from the 50s probably, which is also fun. Hot, it was so good. So the cake's been cooling for about half an hour to an hour, and so we've got blackberries, super simple. Just put some blackberries in a pan, bit of lemon juice, bit of caster sugar, cook it for 5 minutes or so, and then you've got a little bit of syrup, some more blackberries. Perfect. French creme fraiche, 3 Great Taste Award stars, so you know it's going to be bloody good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Times Life and Style YouTube channel. See you soon. I'm not sure about that.